Hello everyone, June 17th, so I guess 2 weeks since I took the last video at the allotment, and a lot's happening, things are moving on, it's nice to see. So these are my two exhibition beds, and you can see things are starting to pop out of the ground. This is kind of where I want them. I don't want blooms in these two rows. I don't want to see any blooms until September when the shows start. So I want them to take a while to pop up. So they're coming up. Need to get some, I'll probably give them a little bit more of the chicken pellets, because what they have is worm castings and the feather meal into the hole with the tuber. So I think by the end of June, I'm going to give them another shot of the chicken pellets just to make sure they have enough feed, because I'm going to be going away for 2 weeks. So I just want to make sure that they're well fed while I'm gone. Here's the seedling bed. So this is the bed that froze on me. I think the low was expected to be, I think it said 8 Celsius, and that's in Orangeville, and it's always colder at the plot, so I would say maybe it was 5 Celsius here. But you can see how, sorry about my finger, you can see it frosted the tips. I think this is still, this leaf node is still frozen because I don't see any growth coming out. However, down below, because I put down straw, you can see that there's still green. There's growing. There must have been buds that didn't freeze, so we're getting some growth. I think most of them are going to come back. It's half my seedlings, so half my 2023 crop of seedlings, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that most of them will come back, and they look like they are. So that's good. And this is what they should be looking like. Sorry, I'm in the sun here. Let me go this way. This is what they should be looking like. This is how they looked when they were planted. It's unfortunate. These will be blooming much earlier than the other ones now, because they didn't get the frost and the others did. So that's good. And then up here, I have some additional tubers that I'd saved from 2022 stock. So I judged that they had, they looked good enough that I wanted to check them another year. So I think there's 19 in there. And then this is my 2022 seedling. It's I don't know, I guess a semi-cactus. It kind of has a form like Hilltop Lost Treasure. I think it's off of Oakwood Goldcrest, but I'm not 100% there. So it's a bright, like an orangey, peachy color with a yellow center. It's very pretty. It has very nice, strong, robust, green, healthy looking growth. And that's quite typical of seedling because it hasn't come across the viruses yet. So let's hope we can keep it that way. And then this seedling is, there's 3 or 4 of them here. This is another one that I've actually called Meadow's Memory. And it bloomed the week that my dad died in 2021. So this I will always keep. It's a very large white, not very large, I suppose if you grew more up it wouldn't be giant size. And it's off of Walter Hardesty with eggy white pollen. And it's kind of intermediate between the forms of Aggie and Walter. So it's a more organized looking Walter Hardesty, I'd say. And then in here are some tubers that I've imported from, I'm not sure if I'm going to be saying this right, Loba. And there are some Max and some Clearview in here, tubers. Some are starting to come up. They're more of a trial right now. but most of them are show quality, so we'll see what they look like. And then the rest of this row was just planted with additional seedlings from 2022 from my own stock that I wanted to keep on trial for another year, as well as tubers of varieties that I just wasn't quite ready to give up. So I just put one plant in just so I have tubers for next year. But you know what it's like. You always have to pick and choose, and you can't grow everything. In here is where I've put some palms, and all I have for palms right now is Cocoa Puff and Rosemary Dawn. And there's some tubers in there, and there's also some plants in there. And then down here in the orchard area, because I don't want them with my other, I want them as far away from a hybridizing stock as possible, and I'll show you where that is later. I've got these are collarette. I think they would both be considered collarette. Anyways, more single form. So Venus, Alpen Cherub, and Apple Blossom. So what I'll probably do with these is I'll check the flower, make sure we've got the right variety, and then I probably won't let them bloom for the rest of the year. And then into this newer section here. So my garlic. Supposedly there's some type of bug that's starting to go after the garlic crops in people's plots. So I'm keeping an eye on it, and I'm probably going to cover with that insect netting over there. Anyways, this first bed here is water lilies. Holly Hills Serenity, some Max varieties, just a whole bunch. Mostly just singles. Yvonne. Maybe some just single plants, some multiple plants. This row is again mostly water lilies, a lot of Kelgayan, but I've also put Salish Twilight Girl in here, and I put Salish Twilight Girl and Kelgayan together and intersperse them because I'd like to cross-pollinate those two. And then my comfrey, which is covered in bumblebees. I just love this. It's huge. So I've started making comfrey teas for my plants because they love that, and I've got a lot of material to be able to do that. This bed is my KA variety bed. So some of the ones that aren't up at the end here, those are tubers of KA's Cloud. And then the rest of most of these are cuttings of various KA's varieties. And I have more at home. What do I have here? Kelty Rose, Rosie Joe, Mocha Joe? I can't quite remember. Cafe Mauve, Kay's Cloud, Kay's Khaleesi. Probably forgetting some of them. This bed is my bracken bed, plus some additional down at the end in tubers. Down there is Kamano Zoe, things like that. More cut flower varieties. All of these are pretty much, I'm growing them for cut flower varieties more than exhibition. So I have Cozy Town Bounty, Cozy Town Baby Cakes, and Cozy Town Gale. So we'll see how those, brackens. This is brackens. This is Cozy Towns. I apologize. So those are the Cozy Towns, and those are the varieties I have. These are the brackens. So bracken Rose, bracken Sarah, bracken Palomino, along with the Kamano Zoe and several other varieties. Westerton Sunset, I think, is down there. Some of the more popular ones. And then the Cozy Towns. And then this is kind of a mixed bed of things like Toscano Rose, Orange Globe. What are these front ones here? I've forgotten. I have a map for everything. But oh, some seedlings because I didn't have enough room in the seedling patch. Orange Globe here. Let me get out of the sun. Orange Globe makes the most beautiful, look at the ant. That tells me there could be some aphid pressure. But what I have here at the plot are soldier beetles. And they come in and they clear up any kind of aphid issue that I have. I don't have to worry about it, so it's excellent. But anyways, the orange globe, they make such beautiful, healthy green plants. I have to say they were my prettiest cuttings this year. It's that orange globe. I have heard that they're not very good tuber makers, so I may only allow one bloom and then just allow the rest of the energy of the plant to go into tuber making. Yeah, so it's another bed. And then at the plot I have 2 beds of chrysanthemums. All of my exhibition chrysanthemums are at the house because the deer come here and they nip the ends off, and then my timing is completely off. And here is another bed of mums. And then here is a bed that 2 beds actually that I'm going to plant up for hybridizing purposes. So over there behind those trees are beehives. So the bees come here. I have a lot of honeybees, bumblebees, so I let them do the pollinating for me. But I group my hybridizing plants into categories. So formal decks with formal decks, cactus with cactus. However, sometimes you get some interesting stuff when the different forms cross-pollinate. So, I'll show you an example of one later in the year that I've kept, which is obviously from 2 different forms of dahlias, but looks quite nice. So these are the plants. They're substantial, they're large. That's the way I want them because I want them blooming very early so that I can allow the seed pods to mature for a long time on the plant to make sure that the seed is going to be viable. So this is my job for today. Get all these in, and then I can start worrying about maybe some weeding or some staking or whatever I need to do to make sure the plot is going to be okay for the 2 weeks that I'm gone. So take care, everyone. Have a great day and enjoy the beautiful weekend.